We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. The Tempest. I saw my first dead body when I was 2 years old. I hold no fixed memory of that day in 1970, only snapshots developed over time from my mother's recollections. We had recently moved to Tynemouth in Devon, into a detached interwar house on the edge of town with a view over Labrador Bay. Our neighbours on one side were two elderly ladies who shared a house, Mrs. Gracie and Miss Bowles. The day in question began as usual, but soon after my father had left for work, dropping my two brothers at school, there was a desperate knock at the door. Mrs. Gracie. "Please can you come?" she urged my mother. "I think Miss Bowles is dead." Of course. My mother is calm in a tricky situation. But I'll have to bring Sophie. At this point, I was attached to her hip, eyes wide. So we trooped next door to the accompaniment of Mrs. Gracie chanting, "I think Miss Bowles is dead." Once inside their hall, we looked ahead up the stairs. And there she lay, Miss Bowles, as if climbing a mountain, only quite still. A moment of silence. I pointed at Miss Bowles. "Don't point," my mother said. "It's rude." More silence. Just the tick from the sunburst clock on the wall. Then, after ringing 999, we waited with Mrs. Gracie until help arrived. Finally, it was all over. Except that it wasn't. On our way back next door, I took up my own chant. "Poor Miss Bowles is dead." This carried on and off for days. "Poor Miss Bowles is dead." Until with time, poor Miss Bowles was no longer my own memory, but my mother's hand-me-down one, still vivid 50 years on. I had no inkling then of what had become of Miss Bowles. I didn't know what dead was, or grief, or anything much outside my small world. Cat, guinea pigs, stick insects, garden, swing, brothers, handy-pandy. But I must have grasped something of the gravity of the situation. Although I had only just met her, I knew that I would never see Miss Bowles again. This was perhaps the beginning of my interest in death, but by no means the only contributory event. I can pinpoint a more definite, explicit engagement to 1972, a couple of years after the demise of Miss Bowles, when my parents bought a newsagent in Torquay. The cat came with us, downgrading from garden to urban backyard. As for the guinea pigs, they were dead. All that remained of them was left behind, a row of lollipop stick crosses in a herbaceous border. Living above a sweet shop, this was so much more than a newsagent's, made up for this current lack of outside space. And anyway, my brothers and I had a new playground, the churchyard up the road, which we nicknamed the Boneyard. Having no grasp of graveyard etiquette, we played hide-and-seek amongst the tombs and sat around eating spangles, listening to Slade et al. On a transistor radio. Perhaps it was here, hopping over the bones of the dead, that I made the connection between Miss Bowles and the guinea pigs. That one day you are here, the next, not. This disappearing act has been the backdrop to my life. A sleight of hand, some misdirection, and ta-da! Loved ones vanish into thin air.